Right after the graduation ceremony ended, the girl I had grown up with turned her back on me and chased after the scholarship student who had just been accepted to the same university as her.
Yeah, I
However, her best friend, a wealthy socialite from DC, decided to enroll at NYU, the same school I was heading to, and immediately began an aggressive campaign to win me over. The second I nodded and accepted her confession of love, I saw strange, floating text drift across my vision. It read,
Wait, what?
"Damn, she's really willing to sacrifice herself. She's going to seduce the side piece just so the main couple can have their happy ending. Just watch. She'll act like she's totally into the villain now, but once he's completely hooked and stops bothering the female lead, she'll dump him so hard." Another line of text floated by. "That poor guy is still totally in the dark. Serves him right. Who told him not to know his place? Everyone knows childhood sweethearts can't beat the hot new thing. But he kept clinging to her, making our boy Julian feel insecure. What a snake." Apparently, the villainous side character they were discussing was me, and according to them, I was pathetic. I looked over at Khloe Sterling, who was leaning casually against a supercar that was absolutely overflowing with flowers. She was gorgeous, incredibly wealthy, eager to please, and completely at my beck and call. From my perspective, I was the one making out like a bandit here. Later on, the scholarship kid would tearfully threaten to break up with her to prove she hadn't fallen for me. Khloe, annoyed by the drama, would dial my number, but no one would answer, because I would have already ditched her first. With all the money she'd spent on me over the years, I was currently sitting on a plane, heading overseas to study. The floating comments had appeared just as I was about to accept Khloe's confession. This top-tier heiress from DC had traveled all the way to New York after graduation just to chase after me, the son of a family that had lost everything. She had pulled up in a luxury sports car filled to the brim with roses. The delicate hand resting on the window frame was adorned with a watch that cost more than a house. Every move she made smelled of burning money. She smiled, dazzling and bold. "Ethan Brooks, I've had a crush on you for so long. Give me a shot, huh?" A wave of screams erupted from the crowd around us. The comments scrolled by in a frenzy in my vision. "Say yes, you villain. Only when you're with the loyal second female lead will you stop bothering our main couple's sweet romance. This scheming guy is the worst, even if you're the female lead's childhood friend. You should know that's no match for the new guy. Why do you keep throwing yourself at her? So shameless." Another one read, "Second lead, you have to play him for a fool. When he's most obsessed, dump him and teach him a lesson. It would be even better if you could make him flunk out of school and never recover." So that was the deal. In that case, I was beyond delighted. I took the bouquet from her. "All right." This was a gorgeous, loaded socialite we were talking about, a girl completely out of my league. And now, just to trick me, she was humbling herself and using every trick in the book to seduce me. Could a deal this good even exist? I'd finally made it. The female lead the comments mentioned was my childhood friend, Maya Reynolds. Our mothers were once best friends. When I was 10, my family went bankrupt, and I was sent to live with the Reynolds family. Although they treated me well, and I never lacked for food or clothing, the suffocating feeling of being a charity case, along with the malicious whispers of others, chipped away at my pride day after day. It wasn't until puberty hit that I discovered something interesting. The closer I got to Maya, the quieter the rumors became. To make my own life easier, I started getting close to her, bringing her breakfast, delivering water to her at the sports field, doing all her homework. It was a tender age, and the way Maya looked at me held a certain ambiguity. Our classmates whispered among themselves, guessing when we'd make it official. Those nasty rumors about my family disappeared. The people who once looked down on me started to warm up. That lasted until our senior year of high school. A poor but aloof boy transferred to our class named Julian Hayes. I became his foil. My every move only served to highlight his resilience and integrity. Though he was poor, he acted as if he was above worldly things, treating money like dirt. I, on the other hand, once got into a public screaming match with a shady shop owner who used a rigged scale to overcharge me $5. He easily aced his way to the top of our grade. I pulled all-nighters, and my practice test scores only went up by a few points. People laughed at me for trying so hard for nothing. Soon enough, Maya was captivated by his unique charm. She started to draw a line between us. She warned me not to walk to and from school with her anymore. I breathed a sigh of relief. I'd only gotten close to her with a motive in the first place. If she had actually fallen for me because of it, then I really would have felt guilty. After graduation, they quickly made their relationship official. I also took the initiative to move out of the Reynolds house and start living on my own. After our scores came out, the two of them were curled up on the living room sofa, cooing over college applications. They happened to see me coming down the stairs. Julian was clearly surprised. "What are you doing here?" "I came to see Mr. Reynolds," I said, apologizing to him. "I didn't mean to interrupt you." I had already decided to pursue a career in scientific research. Mr. Reynolds' family ran a biomedical company and had deep roots in the field, with extensive connections that included top professors and academic giants. Getting his advice couldn't hurt. Not long after I left the house, Julian caught up to me. He looked furious. "Don't think I don't know what you're up to. You just want to hang around her a little more, don't you?" I didn't understand why he always saw me as a rival, but we were outside, and making a scene would embarrass Mr. Reynolds, so I didn't argue with him. A couple of days later, a classmate came asking about my college choice. I knew who sent him. Without looking up, I said, "NYU." For one, my SAT scores were decent, right on the bubble for the Ivy Leagues. But with NYU, I could get into their special honors program. And for another, Maya and Julian were staying in DC. I just wanted to focus on my studies, not get dragged into a love triangle. It was a good chance to get away from that psycho couple, but Julian still wasn't reassured. He called in his #1 admirer, the second female lead, and told her to seduce me so I wouldn't step out of line and bother Maya. Khloe readily changed her college choice. With her family's status and wealth, she could pick any university at random and still live a perfect life. Khloe had things I wanted. After leaving the Reynolds family, I had to support myself. Even with tuition waivers and scholarships covering my living expenses, things were still tight. But for this golden girl, whatever she let slip through her fingers was a godsend for me. And just like that, Khloe and I started dating, each of us trying to deceive the other. Once, on a date, she left her phone on the table unlocked. The screen was open to her chat with Julian. She was reporting every single one of my moves to him in painstaking detail. I was horrified. Like a thief, I quietly turned off the screen for her. I was terrified she'd find out that I'd found out she was lying to me the whole time. I was a STEM major. Besides keeping my GPA up, I needed research experience. It was best to get into a lab early, get familiar with a professor, and try to get my name on a few papers as an undergrad. That would help me get into a better grad school. So, by the first semester of my sophomore year, I had confirmed my research direction, picked a professor, and joined his project team. But the path wasn't exactly smooth. Lately, I had no idea what was going wrong. Maybe the cells in my petri dishes were in a bad mood. They died and died and died. The entire experiment was completely stalled. As I was tearing my hair out in silent despair, a helpful senior walked over and handed me a small piece of bread. He told me that the end of science is superstition. When you can't get results, it might be because something unclean has entered the lab. Maybe try doing a lion dance in front of the equipment to ward off evil spirits. Who knows? Maybe the machine spirit will be pleased and it'll work. He said there was once a senior student who was so desperate she started crawling around the lab barking like a dog. Miraculously, her experiment started working. And so those two performance art pieces became time-honored traditions in our lab. He patted my shoulder. Ethan, why don't you give it a try? Hey, a crooked path is still a path. I politely declined. As the top student in my department and a campus heartthrob, I had a reputation to maintain. 3 more days passed. My experiment had made 0 progress. The pressure was so immense my head felt like it was going to explode. Along with it came mood swings, hormonal imbalances, handfuls of hair falling out, and several pimples on my face. I decided to reward myself with a nice meal. I changed into a sharp outfit and asked Khloe out for a drink. She was a lightweight. After one low-alcohol drink, she was already slightly buzzed. We were sitting close, the air thick with an ambiguous spark. The dim lighting made the contours of her face look even more exquisite. I licked my lips. A sudden hunger rose within me. I said, "Let's not go back tonight, okay?" Khloe froze. She had never thought about taking things that far with me. She certainly never expected me to be the one to suggest it. I kissed the corner of her lips. My smile deepened. "What's wrong? We're boyfriend and girlfriend, aren't we?" She came from a very strict family and was still inexperienced. A little teasing was all it took. Her breathing grew tense. Her heart rate sped up. Under the dual stimulation of alcohol and hormones, the tips of her ears turned bright red, and a captivating blush spread across her neck. "Okay," she whispered. I was like a starving wolf that had finally caught its prey. Tireless. We used up the whole box. The next day, I didn't wake up until noon. The pressure from my experiment was gone, and my painful childhood memories didn't hurt anymore. Once I dove back into my work, I was ferocious and completely absorbed. After that, a new world opened up to me. A beauty's bloom is brief, so one must pluck it early. Whenever the academic pressure got to be too much, I would prioritize seeing her. Khloe had an amazing body, a slender waist, exquisite curves, and surprisingly good stamina. She was a natural when it came to intimacy. In the end, I really had Julian to thank for this. When Julian and Maya were flirting, he'd often bring Maya water at the sports field, complimenting her figure while secretly shooting glances at Khloe. That spurred her to spend a whole summer working out and toning her body. I became the ultimate beneficiary of this female rivalry. As I was close to her, I thought to myself, "Thank you, my dear male lead, for this generous gift." Khloe's family had a more traditional mindset. Therefore, even though I was the more proactive one most of the time, she firmly believed that in matters like this, the guy shouldn't be left at a disadvantage. So she would frequently give me expensive gifts. Designer watches, limited edition sneakers, custom cufflinks. I never pretended to be shy. I accepted them, all. Then I'd turn around and sell them, replacing them with high-quality replicas. After all, I was Khloe Sterling's boyfriend. With that halo effect, even if I wore fakes, people would assume they were real. The floating comments saw all of this. They wanted to expose my despicable behavior, but found that Khloe couldn't see the text at all. In their desperation, all they could do was curse me out. So shameless. Look at this gold digger's ugly face. I rolled my eyes in contempt. First, Khloe gave me these things willingly. To her, it was pocket change. The people cursing me were just jealous. Second, she approached me with the intention of playing with my emotions. Why wasn't anyone cursing her out back then? Give me a break. Growing up, I've always lived by one principle. If you want something, admit it and fight for it with all your might. Even if you have to fake it, you fake it until it's real. For example, I wanted money from Khloe, so I diligently provided her with emotional support, coaxing her until she was completely devoted. If she said go east, I would never head west. I never checked her phone or asked about her schedule. For Khloe's birthday, I gave her a bracelet. She looked a little disgusted. I would never wear something this cheap. I lowered my eyes and put on an act. This bracelet is blessed to bring soulmates together. They say it's incredibly powerful. I climbed a mountain to get it and had a master personally consecrate it. She totally fell for it. A joyful light filled her eyes, and the smile on her face was harder to suppress than an explosion. You like me that much? Fine. She took off her expensive watch and put on the bracelet. She would show it off to everyone she met. Another example, I wanted good grades, so I studied like crazy, practically living in the library. Discipline and diligence. I acted the part for so long it became real. Since enrolling, my GPA has always been #1 in the department. I wanted to get published. So I worked incredibly hard in the lab and built good relationships with the senior students. I managed to get my name as the 3rd or 4th author on a few papers. The comments, which had once been a unanimous chorus of me being a fake, were now starting to change. Some people were becoming my fans. I'm not gonna lie, this guy really loves to study. A handsome top student with a great personality. I'm kind of tempted to switch sides and become a fan of his career. What do I do? To the person above me, you need to get some taste. Time flew by, and before I knew it, it was the first semester of my junior year. Everyone was starting to plan for their futures. Some were applying for early admission to grad school. Others were preparing for the entrance exams. I had decided to study abroad long ago. I had already prepared my language scores and application materials. Cashing in all the gifts Khloe had given me provided more than enough money to get me through a master's degree, abroad. One morning, after we stayed at an executive suite in a luxury hotel, I could have just pressed a button to have someone bring breakfast. But Khloe insisted on cooking herself. She wore my white shirt with an apron tied around her waist. Her slender figure in the morning light had an indescribable domestic charm. She fried 2 eggs, cooked some noodles, and then came to wake me up. During breakfast, she casually mentioned, "Ethan, let's go study abroad together, okay?" I was still half asleep, but her words hit me like an electric shock. Wasn't she just supposed to be tricking me? I was still fantasizing about Khloe dumping me putting on an Oscar-worthy performance of crying for 3 hours, and her giving me a huge sum of money for my emotional distress out of pity. Why was she starting to plan a future with me? This wouldn't do. I shook my head and told a lie. The cultural differences abroad are too big. I'm afraid I wouldn't get used to it. Actually, I'd rather go back to DC. After all, we both grew up there. I've pretty much prepared all my application materials for Georgetown's grad program. Khloe thought for a moment. Okay then, I'll talk to my family. She was going to take over her family's business anyway. It didn't matter where she went to school. But for extra insurance, I decided to play a dirty trick. I knew that for years someone had been stalking my various social media accounts, so I blocked everyone I knew and posted an update. Getting ready to go to DC for grad school with my baby. So excited for our life together. It worked like a charm. At the end of September, Khloe got her early acceptance to Georgetown, and I received my offer from MIT. But I lied to her. I gave my roommate $50 and asked him to Photoshop me a screenshot of an early acceptance to Georgetown. I sent it to Khloe. "That's great, baby. We can be together again." June was graduation season, and parties were everywhere. I lied and said I needed to get in touch with my future grad school advisor, so I didn't attend any of them. My student visa was already approved. All I needed was a plane ticket, and I could leave at any time. On this particular day, the floating comments were unusually active. "Here it comes, here it comes." The main couple breaks up. The male lead runs to the second lead to vent, and after the second lead gets her man, the female lead realizes her mistake. I am so ready for the groveling and the catfight that's about to happen. Even though the second lead slept with the villain, she was just practicing on him. Now her skills are top-notch, and she's super eager to please. I'm here for it. The villain is finally about to get lost. Maya and Julian broke up. I skimmed a few comments and finally pieced together the truth. It turned out that when they first started dating, Maya was very generous with him financially. But Julian, wanting to maintain his persona of being above worldly things, always pretended to be reserved, playing hard to get. He wanted to give her more later on, but he never expected Maya to actually believe him and stop giving him a dime. Furious and anxious, he started picking fights, saying that where the money is, the love is, and that Maya didn't really love him. Maya found it all a huge headache and thought his personality was twisted. In the heat of the moment, they broke up. Julian asked to meet her at a bar, just the two of them. By the time Khloe arrived, he was already very drunk. His eyes were filled with tears. "Khloe, you once said that if I ever turned back, you'd be waiting for me. Does that offer still stand?" Khloe didn't answer directly. She just snatched the glass from his hand. "Stop drinking. You're starting to talk nonsense." Julian wouldn't let it go. "You never used to brush me off like this. Have you really fallen for Ethan Brooks? What did you promise me?" She got a little nervous. What? Of course not." The alcohol was hitting Julian hard. He became emotional, and his voice got louder. "Then prove it to me. Call Ethan right now in front of me and break up with him. Then I'll believe you haven't fallen for him." Khloe hesitated. She clearly didn't want to break up. After spending so much time together, she had started to like me a little, albeit a purely physical kind of like. But she had always been proud. Admitting that she had played the game and gotten played herself would be a slap in her own face. Whatever, she'd break up with him now and get back together later. Ethan always did whatever she said. He'd definitely obey. Khloe made up her mind. She took out her phone and dialed. All she heard from the other end was a cold, robotic voice. "Sorry, the number you have dialed has been switched off." It was an unbelievable coincidence. Julian traveling all the way to New York to see Khloe and my flight out of the country happened on the exact same day. To save money, I had booked a 2-leg flight with a layover. 2 hours later, the plane landed. I took out my phone and called Khloe back. "I was out, my phone died. What's up, Khloe?" Ethan." Khloe trailed off, hesitant. Silence hung between us. My heart was pounding so hard it felt like it was going to burst out of my chest. "Say it. Just say it already." Suddenly, a drunken male voice cut in. "Khloe? Who are you talking to?" I launched into my performance. "Khloe? Why is he calling you Khloe? Who are you with right now?" Seeing that she could no longer hide it, Khloe finally gave up. As if she had nothing left to lose, she said, "Ethan, I'm so sorry. Let's break up. I'll give you a sum of money as compensation." I had finally gotten what I was waiting for. I covered my mouth to stifle a laugh. But I didn't expect the comments to still come after me. The villain doesn't really think going abroad will turn him into some unforgettable lost love, does he? That move only works for the male lead, LOL. No one cares that the side character is leaving the country. I'd had enough. Why did everything have to be a pissing contest? Over the years, I had tried all sorts of methods to make the comments disappear, but nothing worked. I even went to a neurologist. After hearing my description, the doctor suggested I be admitted to the hospital immediately. That scared me so much I waved my hands and said, "I'm fine, doctor. Actually, I feel a lot better now. I'll be going." I had gotten used to these comments floating in front of my eyes every day, but sometimes some of the fake outrage still got to me. The plane landed in Massachusetts. I pushed open the door to my apartment. The room was completely empty. The classic international student starter pack. A blanket on the floor would be my bed for the night. Next came the basic life preparations. Getting a credit card, buying furniture, and joining second-hand student groups online to find deals. And most importantly, finding a few restaurants with food I could actually stomach. A week later, I had basically adjusted to my new life. It was summer break, so I didn't have classes. I went to meet my future professor first. We talked about projects, toured the lab, and confirmed my research direction. Time slipped through my fingers. Before I knew it, it was August. Khloe's birthday. In previous years, she always spent it with me. This year, she gathered a group of her best friends. Even though it was more lively with more people, she just felt off. Getting used to one person's company is a terrifying thing. She sat in the host's seat, head in her hands, not saying a word. This time, she had really gone too far. Playing with a guy's feelings for 4 whole years. The beginning was her doing. And the end was too. Khloe cursed herself internally. Damn it. How could I be such an asshole? On that phone call, Ethan's voice had been so choked up. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say he was heartbroken. He was truly, madly in love with her. Although she had given him a hefty sum as financial compensation, 4 years, $4 million, Khloe was sure that if Ethan had to choose between the money and her, he would without a doubt rather give up the money than give up being with her. At that very moment, on the other side of the ocean, as I was gleefully counting the balance in my bank account, I sneezed. Achoo! This was supposed to be a birthday party, but the birthday girl herself was gloomy and silent. The atmosphere was a bit awkward. Her friends chattered away, trying to liven things up. One clueless, unlucky soul asked, "Hey, Khloe, that bracelet is pretty unique, huh?" Khloe was dressed casually for the outing. The only thing that stood out was the sub-3-figure bracelet on her wrist. It looked so out of place, not matching her vibe at all. Another friend quickly shushed her. Shut up. That was a gift from her ex. Khloe felt like 2 holes had been punched through her heart. Wind whistled through them. She looked down. If no one had mentioned it, she would have forgotten it was from me. It was just that the first thing she did every morning was fish it out from under her pillow and put it on. It had become muscle memory. My words when I gave it to her replayed in her mind. This bracelet is blessed to bring soulmates together. They say it's incredibly powerful. I climbed a mountain to get it and had a master personally consecrate it. They say it's super effective. The thought made her agitated. She ran a hand through her hair and kicked both of them out. Can't I just wear it because it looks good? Get out. Only my roommate and a few friends knew I had gone abroad, but they all despised Khloe for her behavior, so they all willingly helped me keep it a secret from her. Khloe sent me a long apology essay on WhatsApp. I sent her a 9-cent transfer. She accepted it, thinking it was a signal that I was willing to reconcile. She pushed her luck and asked if we could meet up. I thought of the perfect reply. Sorry, you breaking up with me so suddenly really hurt me. I'm not ready to see you right now. Whatever it is, let's talk when school starts. I didn't reject her completely. Instead, I left her a sliver of hope. Because of that sentence, Khloe spent the rest of her break in agony, counting the days on her fingers. She finally made it to the first day of grad school. She was in the business school, which had orientation in the morning. The life sciences school, on the other hand, had its registration in the afternoon. As soon as she got her materials, she went to stake out the life sciences registration desk. She waited and waited, from just 2 or 3 people at the beginning to a long line forming. And then, finally, the sun set, and even the staff had all gone home. But there was still no sign of Ethan Brooks. She was confused and disappointed. Just as she was about to leave, a guy ran up to her. "Hi, excuse me, are you Khloe Sterling?" She recognized him. It was my undergraduate roommate. "Yes, where is he?" The guy explained. "I'm so sorry. Ethan asked me to bring you something, but I had so much to do with registration today I almost forgot. I just remembered now." A terrible feeling rose in Khloe's heart. The guy dug an envelope out of his bag and handed it to her. She opened it. Inside was a postcard stamped with the university seal. 2 lines of sprawling text. The words were silent, but they were deafening. "Khloe, you can stay in D.C. by yourself. Your boy's off to MIT. Today was the matriculation ceremony." After the speeches, thunderous applause filled the hall as colorful confetti rained down from above. MIT, the school of my dreams since I was a kid. But as I actually stood here, it all felt surreal, like a dream. My grad school life was packed, running experiments, analyzing data, reading literature, writing reports. Occasionally, when I had a spare moment, I couldn't help but wonder what those 3 were up to now. They must have already started their little love triangle chase. Speaking of which, I suddenly realized that ever since I went abroad, I hadn't seen the live comments in the sky anymore. My guess was that the part of this novel that involved me was finally over. From now on, it was my time to freely explore the world. Halfway through the semester, one day Khloe suddenly appeared outside my lab. My professor was famous in academic circles and hadn't taken on a new student in years. As his special exception, it wasn't hard to find me with a little digging. She said, "Ethan, I miss you so much." When we were dating before, I was always the one who went along with her. This time, seeing her again, it was her who looked at me with a cautious gaze. "I have so much I want to say to you. Can you give me another chance?" She had clearly dressed up before coming. A form-fitting dress that hugged her exquisite curves, flawless makeup, her eyes sparkling. She didn't look like she was here to talk. She was here to seduce me. I thought. The pressure from my experiments lately has been a bit much. I slipped my apartment key card into her soft hand. "I still have a research summary to write. Tonight, we'll see how you do." Khloe went back to my apartment. The room was neat and simple. Besides the necessary appliances and daily items, there were almost no decorations. In the afternoon, she spent waiting for me to summon her. She went to a nearby mall and decorated the room. Roses, scented diffusers, candles. When I got back, I thought I had walked into the wrong apartment. Just as I was about to step out and check the room number, a soft but firm hand pulled me inside. In the dim light, 2 shadows were cast on the wall. She asked, "Ethan, is this okay?" I wrapped my arm around her waist. The next second, kisses rained down on me like a storm. That was a satisfying meal. The next morning, I stroked her long hair as if comforting a lazy kitten. I praised her. "Very good, very well behaved." Khloe blushed a little. "I haven't been with anyone else since we broke up. I saved myself for you." I know. I could feel it. Her passion had been building for a long time. So are we. We're not getting back together. I cut her off flatly. She was both flustered and embarrassed. But last night Yeah, I was perfectly calm. You got off too, didn't you? But you clearly hinted that I still had a chance. She got out of bed, got dressed, and pulled up our old chat history on her phone. 9 cents! Didn't you mean to imply that we could be together forever? What? I was genuinely shocked. Then I thought back carefully. Oh, you mean that? What I meant was, your apology isn't worth a dime. Khloe's face turned pale with anger. Desperate to prove her point, she found something else. The bracelet, right, the bracelet you gave me. You said it was for finding love. I wear it every day and can't bear to take it off. I fell silent again. Actually, the bracelet wasn't specifically sought out for her. The temple I visited was perched on a mountaintop. Legend had it that if your heart was sincere enough and you hiked to the summit, whatever you wished for would come true. This applied to love, and it applied to academics. During the period after I had submitted my applications and was waiting for the results, I was naturally anxious. Finally, one morning, leaning on a hiking stick, I trekked to the mountaintop. In the center of the main hall, the statue sat silent, its eyes full of compassion. I clasped my hands together and knelt in prayer for a long time. On a table to the side was a container of fortune sticks. A monk asked, "Would you like to draw one?" I picked it up, hesitated for a moment, then slowly put it back down. I smiled with a sense of release. No, thank you. I had already done my absolute best for 3 years of college. The rest was up to fate. No need to worry excessively. There was a souvenir shop outside the temple where one could rest. I ordered a cold drink and, on a whim, bought a bracelet for Khloe. But I didn't know that the goddess of fate had quietly smiled upon me. Just as I turned to leave, a gust of wind blew through the door. Clatter. The fortune stick container tipped over. A single bamboo stick fell to the floor. A top-grade fortune. After that, I had a frank talk with Khloe. I told her that I
Locked up.
How?
He's Native
I
American
thought I
now.
was fucking
How?
high enough. That is fucking insane.
Oh, thanks for the salt.
The enemy are attacking objective Alpha.
That's what I'm here for.
We're attacking
It's a King of the Hill reference. Take a salt tablet.
objective mark. Support the attack.
Oh, come on, baby.
Can't see
Two
shit.
professional engineers, buddy.
Has been neutralized.
God, this fucking render distance is ass cheeks. Seriously is, man.
Back, Kelly. That's full time walking me right now.
Maybe that's why they didn't put a higher fucking scope than 10 times.
We now control Bravo.
Yeah, 'cause I couldn't fucking handle it.
Hold for objectives. Secure our defenses.
All right.
Advantage is still held
Tried
by
to
the
get
enemy.
fancy.
Regroup and re-engage. We have lost control of Bravo.
God, why is it so fucking loud from the seat? Holy. There's our attack up. Is it sitting in spawn?
It's not sitting in spawn.
Is that even
Damn it.
fucking... Am I just shooting a goddamn rock? What the fuck am I doing?
Okay, we have secured objective Alpha.
Hey, your wife said hey.
We need attack support on the marked objective.
Yeah, that's just rock, guys.
On Alpha.
Don't worry about it. I know you guys are stressed out as much as I was.
Hey, there's that
Bye.
fucking tower.
Man, I'm not used to flying this map.